What's up, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. It is good to be here talking to you guys again. As most of you guys all know, I've been on a hiatus because my son was born this past Sunday and I just had no time to make any videos. So shout out to Darren for holding down the channel while I was gone, and shout out to you guys because in that video where he announced that my son was born, you guys all sent me a ton of congratulations and words of wisdom, and I really appreciate that from you guys. Here's a picture of my son for anyone that was curious, and I'll also leave a video that I edited of the day that he was born at the end of this video for anyone that was interested in how all of that went. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this Joker movie. Now, this Joker movie is breaking all types of records right now. It is probably going to end up being one of the most successful movies box office wise of all time. Let's cross our fingers and hope it hits $1 billion at the box office. But we got some new news in the past week or so about some deleted scenes from the movie. The first one I want to talk about is really intriguing. So I'm looking at an article from Heroic Hollywood. It's titled, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker had to cut bathtub scene to keep R rating. So let's go ahead and look at what Todd Phillips had to say about this particular scene, and then let's talk about it. So Todd Phillips says, so the other thing that's great about Joaquin is that he's always up to try things. So we would finish our days early sometimes, and we started doing this thing, Joaquin and I, we called it a study of insomnia. It was our own fun little thing. Like, we have an hour left in the day, let's light this kitchen. Joaquin, let's do something over there by the sink or the fridge, and let's set up 2 cameras. Larry Sher would operate one, Jeff Groff would operate the other, and we would do these things. Like the fridge was one of those. It wasn't in the script, it was something that Joaquin just kind of did, and there was a few others. There's only one other that's in the movie, and that's when he's laughing after he goes to Zazie Beetz' apartment, and he comes back down the hall and he's laughing alone in that living room. There was another one. There were 2 or 3 others we shot, one that is amazing in a bathtub, but I don't think we can actually include it in an R-rated movie, and that's not because it was pornographic, it was just insane. So, it's really interesting to see what Todd Phillips had to say about the way he and Joaquin attacked this movie. Again, there's tons of interviews in which he talked about how great Joaquin is as a performer, and you guys have seen it in the movie. But like, for example, that scene with the fridge where he started taking all the things out and he walks in, it looks like that scene was improvised. And there was another scene where he's dancing after he murders the 3 guys in the subway, and that was improvised as well. And it looks like there was another scene like that that had to be cut out of the movie because it was just too insane and they had to keep it rated R. Now, the intriguing thing is that he says it's not a pornographic scene in nature. And if you look at the next rating up from a rated R, an NC-17 rating, most NC-17 rated movies are rated that way because of the sexual nature involved in the movie. Usually very visceral, or maybe it's an extended sexual scene that was just too much and they had to label it NC-17. Now, that's not the only way to be labeled as such, from what I understand, but from what I've been reading up, it is really kind of some gray area, and a lot of people complain about the rating system that we have for movies, but there's not a lot of movies rated as such that didn't involve some sexual, visceral sexual scene. So for him to say it was just too insane, and it had to be cut out of the movie because of that, it's really interesting. And you know, there are some crazy things that we actually see in the movie. Now, when you think about it, there were not so many violent scenes, maybe not as many as you'd think there would be in this Joker movie, but the scenes that were there, they were just very intense and they were just very visceral. And I know I'm using that word a lot right now. What could this bathtub scene entail for it to be too insane? Now, I only have one theory, and I want to hear what you guys have to say or what you guys think may have happened in the scene. But my only theory was that at the end of this movie, when he stabs his ex-coworker in the neck with those pair of scissors, and he got the blood all over his face right after he started doing his makeup. You remember, he was getting ready for the Murray Franklin show, and then he gets a visit from his 2 old coworkers. He ends up stabbing the one in the neck. He gets his face extremely dirty. I'm thinking it had something to do with washing himself, cleansing himself, and him doing something with the body, or just celebrating in such a graphic way with the body inside of the bathtub. I'm not sure. That's kind of where my head is taking me right now, because I just read this article. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think? What do you think could have the scene? What do you think about the scene, and what could have been involved with it that would be just too insane? You can draw off knowledge you've heard from people who made videos in the past about other deleted scenes, or you can just kind of go wild with your imagination. I'm kind of curious what you guys have to say about it. Let's go ahead and look at another deleted scene, and this one answers a big question that actually I had, but apparently I'm one of the only people that maybe didn't get it. So this has to do with Zazie Beetz' character. When Arthur walks into her apartment and realizes that she has no idea really who he is, the scene cuts real hard and you just see him walking out into the hallway, and it's kind of left ambiguous as to what happened to her character. Well, Todd Phillips answers that question, and now I'm looking at an article from The Independent, and let's go ahead and start reading his quote. "He doesn't kill her, definitely," the director told IndieWire. "As the filmmaker and the writer, I am saying he doesn't kill her. We like the idea that it's almost like a litmus test for the audience to say, how crazy is he? Most people that I've spoken to think he didn't kill her because they understand the idea that he only kills people that did him wrong. She had nothing to do with it. Most people understood that. Even as a villain, he was living by a certain code. Of course, he didn't kill this woman down the hall." So it's pretty obvious why he took that scene out, and I'm actually glad he took the scene out and left it ambiguous. I thought it was really fun to kind of guess about whether or not he killed Zazie Beetz' character, and it makes sense. His explanation makes sense. I was talking to a bunch of friends and coworkers after the movie, and I thought that he did kill her, and I was wrong. So, but that's cool, because it's fun to interpret these movies your way sometimes. But it's also fun to hear the director's point of view, and it totally makes sense. Arthur living by a code and only killing the people that did him wrong. Now, I want to know if you guys were right or wrong about your interpretation of that scene. I only thought that because of the way he looks at her and the way the scene hard cuts to him walking down the hall with the incredible, ominous, and intense music as he walks down that hall. So that's why I thought that. Let me know what you guys thought about that particular aspect of the movie. So that's all the time we have for today, guys. As promised, I'm leaving you with a video summing up last Sunday for me. It was absolutely insane. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and give me your thoughts on the 2 deleted scenes. Have a great day, guys.